Alright, this is a Kahan TV sports break. We've been away for a while covering other sports, but we're back now. Let's take a look back at the week that was before we head off for Premier League action tomorrow and a couple of big games on Sunday. Lots of Champions League action this week, probably a bit too much to keep up with, as all the games were on at the same time. I took in a couple of games, but I'm going to get caught up right now. In Group A, Manchester United scored a comfortable 3-0 victory over FC Basel of Switzerland at Old Trafford, but lost Paul Pogba to injury, probably for an extended period of time. We'll see how it affects their bid to hold the top spot in the English Premier League. Elsewhere in the group, it was perhaps a bit surprising that CSKA Moscow scored a comeback victory over Benfica in Portugal, so Benfica is going to be in for an uphill climb to get out of that group now. In Group B, the heavyweights had no problems as Bayern Munich dispatched Anderlecht and PSG hammered lowly Celtic. That was a bit sad for me to watch, but it is what it is. PSG have turned themselves into a powerhouse. Group C saw a 6-0 drubbing of their Azerbaijani counterparts in style, while Roma and Atletico Madrid played to a 0-0 draw. And in Group D, Juventus fell to Lionel Messi and Barcelona 3-0, a sparkling performance from Messi, who reversed the scoreline from last season's loss to Juve, and Barca have had a great start to their season after their shock loss of Neymar to Barcelona. And the other game in that group, Sporting Club de Portugal dispatched of Greek side Olympiacos. All those games were on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Liverpool made their return to the Champions League to draw with Sevilla 2-2 at Anfield. Stay tuned to Kahan TV Studios as I will have an episode of Walk On Liverpool Football Talk after this show to further discuss that match and Group E. In Group F, Manchester City went to Holland and beat Feyenoord 4-0, while Ukrainian side Shakhtar Donetsk held on for a big win against Napoli at home. Group G is wide open as Turkish side Besiktas defeated Porto away 3-1, and Monaco held Champions League newcomers RB Leipzig to a 1-1 draw in Germany. And Group H saw the return of Cristiano Ronaldo as he's been suspended for La Liga matches after his red card in the Spanish Super Cup. His Real Madrid side beat Greek side Apoel 3-0, 2 goals from a rusty Ronaldo who could have scored more. And a marquee matchup at Wembley Stadium saw a talismanic goldfest as Tottenham beat Dortmund. All the goals in that one were incredible. If you go back and see the highlights there, if you can find them, I recommend it. You should. Now let's move on to the Premier League. There's a marquee matchup this Sunday between Arsenal and Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, as Chelsea will be looking to avenge their FA Cup final defeat to Arsene Wenger's men last season. Arsenal are coming off of 2 solid wins over Bournemouth and their drama-filled victory over Cologne in the Europa League. I guess I should comment on that since it was a pretty big story. People are giving Cologne fans an easy time, I feel, because they just wanted to be there and support their team, first time in Europe and all. But first of all, out of 20,000 fans who showed up, they knew only 3,000 of them had seats. Secondly, if it were a British team that did this, they wouldn't have gotten off so easy because of the reputation. Thirdly, it didn't sound like the Cologne fans were all that super well behaved. I heard stories that some of them were trying to get into the stadium without tickets and such. London authorities should have seen this coming and been ready for it, but the German fans, they did put out an announcement on their website that they were going to be, where they were going to be and all that. But I feel this needs to be curbed in the future just because of football's precarious history of violence. You don't want this becoming a normality. So I say slap Cologne on the wrist, give them a little warning or a fine, and fans around Europe will know that they should not be doing this. And that might be that. Punishment for traveling support, marching, and opposing team cities. Too much can go wrong there, in my opinion. Moving on. Manchester City face a tough test away at Watford tomorrow, and Liverpool will be looking to bounce back from their 5-0 red card-induced loss to Manchester City last week, and their hard-fought Champions League match with Sevilla midweek as they face Burnley at home. Tottenham will be happy to have Dele Alli for their match against Swansea, as Wayne Rooney's violent challenge on him last week didn't break his legs, And Wayne Rooney will also be available for Everton in his return to Old Trafford, as his tackle didn't garner him a red card, or even a yellow card for that matter. Did you guys see that? Was that my only takeaway from last week? I don't know. I think anything involving Dele Alli just gets my blood flowing and induces ranting K. It seems like literally every team hates Dele Alli's guts. I find it hard to believe that commentators never mention Dele's disgusting attitude and past antics when discussing these attacks on him. A Newcastle player was already red carded this season for retaliating against him. Now Rooney. Sure, they're bad challenges that could injure him, but does anyone ever wonder why this keeps happening? It was very convenient for the world to gloss over Dele Alli stamping on Roberto Firmino last year and trying to break his ankle because the ref didn't see it or book him, but every team has some kind of beef with this guy. I can only imagine the smack he talks on the pitch. I don't want to say he deserves all the hard challenges he gets, because I don't necessarily think that's how situations like this should be handled. But just like how in baseball, I don't think beaming a guy who throws at a player is good retaliation, maybe there should be punishment for these things before there needs to be a retaliation, so players don't have to take it upon themselves to police themselves. And maybe the Premier League should start investigating Dele Alli's antics, and people should start talking about what it brings out in other players and blaming that and giving him red cards. Just a thought. Anyways, the Manchester United-Everton game should be interesting. Manchester United dropped their first points of the season last week against the motivated Mark Hughes side as Maxim Choupo-Moting impressed for Stoke. And now United will be without Paul Pogba, and Everton are coming off a bad loss to Italian side Atalanta in the Europa League, as well as their obviously frustrating loss to Spurs last week. They should be looking to bounce back. So the Sunday games are hot. I hope you all have fun watching them. That is all for this edition of Sports Break. Till the next time.